New Thought Media Network proudly presents Lindsay Limbach, Practicing Infinite Possibilities, Fridays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. And now, here's Lindsay.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, excuse me. Good morning, everybody. Hey, I want to say happy Valentine's Day a little early for me. Today, we're at PIP, Practicing Infinite Possibilities, and I know it's Valentine's weekend. So look at this. I got my heart shirt on, and I know you guys can't really tell on the show, but I got my heart earrings on. If you don't wear them now, when do you wear them? Pull out the love, guys. Pull it out all weekend long. Put a heart on. You know, that's the one thing I like about Valentine's Day is I don't think of it as a time in which it's always about just your significant other. It's like, can you take a breath and have the infinite possibilities on Valentine's Day about yourself? What can you do this weekend? Here, wait, hold on. I got to get you guys someone. Here he is. Buster. How can you show your love to your puppies, your dogs, your neighbors, animals, birds, nature, your parents, friends, right? It really is a time where you can celebrate love quite openly to everyone. And I want to do that to my dad. Good morning, Dad in Florida, and Mom. I'm glad you guys are here. So, you know, happy Valentine's Day, but happy Valentine's Day every day, every day. It's just such a great time. I remember, well, yesterday I lost my hat while I was hiking or in our neighborhood, and I went back to get my hat, and the park ranger was there. And I saw him and I said, you know, I lost my hat. And he goes, I saw it. And he had a cart. So he ran back and he got my cart. And I looked at him and I said, happy Valentine's Day. And he was kind of shocked. And I'm like, it's not today. You know, it's on Tuesday. He goes, oh, thank you for reminding me. And he looked at me with the biggest smile and he said, happy Valentine's Day to you. So, you know what? Bring the love out. Wear the outfits. Let things shine while we have it. You know, every day can be Valentine's Day. It's always your choice. So I choose every day. All right, I want to read you guys something. Today we're going to talk about habits, but I have these old Science of Mind magazines, and I know they're done for monthly, but this one is actually from November 2022, and it doesn't matter. They're all good, right? So anyway, here is a quote that I found in this one that I just love from Ernest Holmes. It's in his book called This Thing Called You, and it's on page 3. You belong to the universe in which you live. You are one with the creative genius back of this vast array of ceaseless motion, the original flow of life. You say, well, what does that actually mean? It means PIP, practicing infinite possibilities. We are one, we are part of this infinite possibility of this flow. And so therefore, it's like this incredible empty canvas we have. And we have all these paints right inside of ourselves, and we get to paint our picture. We get to paint who and what our reality is. It's all done through this vehicle, which I call Lindsay Limbach. But you have your own vehicle, Wendell or Wayne or Susan or Barbara, Mike, whatever it is. It is your paintbrush and your paints. Your body is your paintbrush and your mind is your paints, and you master them both, and the infinite universe gives you, the God gives you the canvas. Wow, that is so much awesome power. So much awesome power. But All right, I don't like the word but. Let's change it. And so much responsibility. So much responsibility, right? So today, what we're going to focus in on is habits. And that's actually what we're focusing on for all of February is habits. What habits do you have? What do we need to know about that? Well, I want you to know most everything you do is really a habit that you have formed. You have formed it through collective consciousness of your family. You formed it and learned it through collective consciousness of your neighborhood, of your environment, your schooling system, and then of maybe experiences, good and tragic experiences you've had, things that have given you rewards, things that have given you punishments. Keep changing your behaviors, keeps changing this brain, this programming that we keep talking about. And when I tell you that you're the infinite possibility, right? Practicing infinite possibilities, it means we get to pick the programming. Now, some of the programming, as we've talked about before, was picked in the past. But when you become an adult, and when you become really able to have executive functioning, then you get to choose. You get to choose. You get to choose what are you going to read in the morning. You get to choose, are you going to brush your teeth or not brush your teeth? I think most of us choose to brush our teeth. And so therefore we've chosen it so many times. It's a habit, right? It's a habit. So I dived in and I've really enjoyed, and a lot of you guys might have read this book. It's a great book. I talked about last week, The Atomic Habit by James Clear. It's fabulous, easy read. Really gives you good insight and information on how you form habits. And I also got the workbook of Atomic Habits. And so it's a guidebook from this, and it's written by Robin Reeds. So I have enjoyed that. So I read the book and then I got the workbook. And we're working on this with a group of my friends. Really diving in and taking responsibilities and identifying the habits that we have, and then also identifying the habits that we want to keep, identifying the habits that aren't serving us, and then identifying how to create new habits. So I'm going to dive in there in today's episode, and this, can you believe we're on episode 31? Wow. 31. Okay, episode 31. I want to talk about something that James talks about, which is identities and outcome. Identity and outcome. So, identity versus outcome, let's say that. We've got to realize that when we talk about habits, a lot of times we want to say, well, we want to get to a goal, right? I want to form a new habit. So that's a goal. And that's outcome, okay? So when people think about goals, and I want to achieve a goal, let's say I want to achieve the goal of losing 10 pounds, okay? So if I say to myself, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, that's an outcome and that's a goal. And if I identify with that, then everything else behind it should hopefully support that goal. But the thing is the goal is defining me as someone who is heavy. And so when you have an outside goal like that, a lot of times you're saying you're not good enough to get to that goal. You're missing something. And when I coach with people, I realize I have to say almost 99% of the world population has this feeling that they're not good enough. They're not pretty enough. They're not skinny enough. They're not lovable enough. They're not smart enough. They're not going to meet up to the standards on the outside world. And part of that is really, or the programming of the collective consciousness in Western culture, is that we feed the media is always feeding that to you because they want you to buy their products. So you're not smart enough, so you better take more vitamins. You're not pretty enough, so you better get better hair dye. You're not sexy enough, so you better do something about that. So it's always feeding you, you need to buy our product so you can be enough. And we don't even realize that happens, but it does happen. So we get this feeling that we're not enough. And when you put a goal out there, then you kind of support that concept of you're not enough while you're trying. You're not skinny enough, so I'm going to work harder to get to that goal. Now, can you see how that can backfire on yourself? Because as we know, what you think about, you bring about. So if you think you're not skinny enough, therefore you're imprinting you're not skinny enough, then you believe you're not skinny enough, then you manifest you're not skinny enough. That's a lot to take in. Now let's go the other way. James says you really need to step and think about that, okay? That's the outcome. I'm not skinny enough, or I need to lose 10 pounds. But what about if we do the identity? Instead of achieving the goal, it ends up being we are healthy. Yes, I want to lose 10 pounds, or yes, I want to do this. But how about if we state it in the positive? I am a healthy human being. This affirmation, I am a healthy human being. I can make great choices that bring forth ease of motion, exercise, good circulation, stretching and flexibility, all that. Now, if that is true, and I know I'm a healthy human being, when food comes my way, like raw sugar, like a Snickers, or how about a heart-shaped Reese's peanut butter cup. That's what I meant to say. I love them. Oh my God, they're like cocaine. So when they come my way, instead of saying I'm not skinny enough, I can't have that because it's so good, but it's bad for me. And you see all the negative loop you get into on that. Instead of saying that, you say I'm a healthy human being. I'm a healthy human being who can make healthy choices. So do I choose to eat this Reese's peanut butter cup? And you might say, you know what? I do, because I'm a healthy human being, but I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces, and I'm going to have 1 piece of it, and I'll save the rest for later because I'm a healthy human being. Do you see how you're changing the programming of your thinking? So important for you to see how you change the program of your thinking. So when we are picking out habits that we want to do to support positiveness, we don't want to say, I have a habit of denying myself sugar. No, you want to say, I have a habit of healthy eating. Right? Right? You don't want to say, I'm going to go to bed. My goal is to go to bed at 8 o'clock because I need to sleep better. I have bad sleep. You want to say it in the positive. I can go to bed at a reasonable time to get 8 hours of sleep to feel good. You want to state it in the positive. You want the identity of the goal that you're reaching, the habits you're making is a positive one. So when you're reinforcing and thinking about it, you're not being negative to yourself. You're not denying yourself. You're not putting it into the nots. You're putting it into I want, I am, I am, I am. And that's the basis of affirmations. Let's talk a little bit more about goals. If you have any thoughts about these habits, feel free to put them up in the comment section. I'd love to see who's here with me. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about goals. All right, we both have the same goal. Let's say that I want to run a marathon, or I want to run a half a marathon. Having a goal doesn't mean you achieve the goal, right? There's lots of people. I want to be wealthy. I want to be lovable. I want to be whatever it is. I want to be able to make my bed every day in the morning. That's what I'm working on. That's not a habit I have. I need that habit. Anyway, so the interesting thing about goals is that lots of people have goals. That's very true. But the person who achieves the goal is the person who sets up the system that supports the goal. It's not having a goal that makes you a winner or makes you achieve or makes you, it's the goal itself. We all could write a whole list of goals, but half the people don't get to them and the other half do. What is the difference between the people who achieve their goals? It's the system. It's not the goal. And that is where a lot of people get knocked out. They say that, well, I want to have this. And then they don't realize that a system has to take time and work and effort to get to there. Now, I do believe in divine flow. So I need to know that I want to achieve something, but it doesn't mean that I don't have divine action. Meaning that I can step into the flow and I can see when the system, when the universe is pushing me in a direction to make choices to get to my goal. I need to get the proper system in. I don't just sit down in my chair. If I want to be aligned, my goal is to be mindful and loving every day. That is a goal. But how do I get there? Yes, I declare it. But in the morning when I wake up, I don't want to say but. I'm really trying to work on not saying the word but, because that dismisses what you say. And so I want to be loving and caring and mindful every day. And I set up the system in the morning to program my RAS, this tool, this mind. And I do my prayers. I do my meditation. I do my reading, right? So I'm programming my mind for the system so I can get into the flow and achieving that goal. All right. So goal achievement is a temporary change. This is another fact that I love in this book that James Clear says. Goal achievement is a temporary change, meaning that a lot of times you achieve that goal. And then unless we maintain the system that got us to the goal goes away. And I'm a prime example of that, let's see, in 2022, I set up a new system and a goal and I lost 25 pounds. So because of COVID and my eating, I'll take responsibility. I gained a lot of weight, It was fine, but I gained a lot of weight. And I decided I don't want to have that COVID weight anymore, that couch potato weight. It's time to get back. So I lost 25 pounds and I set up a terrific system. And then by around March, the end of March, April is when I hit my goal. And then I kind of stopped the system. I was pleased where I was at. And over then the next 9 months, I gained 10 pounds back. I mean, now I didn't gain all 25. I did keep up my system, but I did gain 10 pounds back. And why? It's because I wasn't being and having the identity to my system on the eating habits that was really good. So I went back in January and I decided I'm going to lose that 10 pounds and I have about 2 more to go and then I've done it. But what did I do is I reinstated the system into my thinking, into my consciousness, that I am a healthy person, that I can make good choices. I don't deny myself my Reese's. I will have it, but I don't eat the whole thing. One example is my husband and I decided that we're going to go to Huntington Gardens on Sunday during the day because it's Super Bowl Sunday. And you know what? Nobody's going to be around. It's going to be awesome. And one of the places we like to eat, I know this is Bob Big Boy in Burbank. It's one of the first I think it's the first Bob Big Boy. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's the first Bob Big Boy. And man, do they have good chocolate molds. Oh my gosh. And hamburgers. It's really fun. But that's not working in my system. So he said, well, let's go to Bob Big's Boy. I said, no, honey, we're not going to Bob's Big Boy. Maybe in the future we can go to Bob's Big Boy, but right now I am on my system and I'm doing a great job and I don't want to sabotage it. And you could say, well, Lindsay, you could go to Bob's Big Boy and not eat the hamburger and the chocolate milk, but I'm not setting myself up for failure. I'm just not going to go. I'll go another day. Right? I'll go after I've achieved my goal and I can plan it out, but I'm in a good flow. So I know part of my system is to be kind to myself and not set myself up for failure. Right? So when we do make a system, we need to maintain our system. Our goal is not our habit. Our habit is the system. And that's why I'm bringing this up. We want to set up habits that support long-term healthy goals that are stated in the positive. Okay. So also you want to know, I'm going to read this part for you. It says, number 3, goals limit your happiness. What do you mean goals limit your happiness? Many of us think that once we reach our goal, we will be happy. And we end up continuously putting off happiness until we reach that goal or the next one. The system first attitude, which is what we're talking about, and systems are habits we want to form. With a system first attitude, you enjoy the process, right? You enjoy the process. I love this. The steps to reaching the goal. You don't wait to reach that goal to be happy. There are many steps in your system that you can be happy with. So true. We want to set up habits, which is the system process that make us happy. It's not that the goal is going to make it. If you think your goal is going to make you happy, then you're using willpower to get to the goal. And you know what? That can work when you're feeling really great. But when something hits you hard, you're tired, you're sick, bad news comes along, whatever it is, then you end up not using your prefrontal cortex because your brain is now using too much energy other ways and you don't have the willpower. You know, I was talking to a good girlfriend and we were talking about eating habits and setting up systems. Part of the system is that you don't have the food that during the day, you can say, I'm not going to eat that cake. During the day, you can say, I'm not going to have those cookies or that ice cream or that Reese's Pieces. But when you're tired at night, the willpower goes away. And so you have to make sure you have a system set up so you can make it through when you're tired or hungry or whatever's going on in that. And that's the habit. You want the habit of being healthy, not the willpower to get you to healthy. So in my system, when we were talking about my morning system to be kind and nice and mindful, my system is that I see Rev Melissa, which I shouted out her last week. I just love her class. She's here 7:30 every day, 7:30 in the morning if you're California time, or she is, it's 10:30 East Coast time. But she's part of my system. And when I get off not talking to her, I watch her just like you guys are watching me now. When I get off, I feel good. I feel charged up, right? And that feels good. So seeing her is part of my system to have the outcome, to have a great day. But part of that system, seeing her makes me feel good and happy. And that's what he's talking about. You want to build systems that radiate happiness. Then you're not using willpower to get through it. You're not using willpower to get through it. You're using positive habits to get through it. Positive habits. All right. Now let me read his 4th point about goals and systems, right? Is the goals do not support long-term progress. Think about that. The goals do not support long-term progress. What do you mean my goal does not support long-term progress? Once you hit your goal, then what happens? Do you find yourself reverting to old habits? That's what I did with the food. I mean, I made a lot of adjustments, but having a system in place will ensure you continue playing the game long after the goal has been achieved. Now I'm going to use the weight I was talking about as meaning that when I lost the weight, that was the goal. But while I was losing, you know what? My joints felt better. Look, I have now been on this 2 weeks of not 2 weeks, 2 months of eating well. My skin is better. My face is better. My hands, my hydration is better, right? I sleep better. So it's not just all about the weight, it's about being healthier. In so many, my clothes feel better. Right. I actually, it's almost like I have a new wardrobe because I now fit into some clothes I really like that was getting a little tight. So it's like I'm giving myself gifts. You have to realize there's so much happiness that happens by eating well. And I want to maintain that and remember that the system isn't just to drop 10 more pounds just to be at my weight that I think is good for me. Fluctuation up to, fluctuation down to. So, about a 4 pound, 5 pound range, anywhere in that, all good, right? So it's not like the number because we know we change all the time. But I have to remember that because I'm not eating the big Reese's, peanut butter cup that's shaped like a heart, I actually feel better. I feel better. I mean, people who come up to me and they're like, Lindsay, you look great. What is it? Drinking water and not eating sugar. Then also, my morning practice, I feel happier. I don't feel sluggish. I don't feel like I'm draining myself. So the universe, God, gives you the power to make these choices and to set up these systems. Your body is the paintbrush, right? Your mind and what you choose is the programming, is the paint. And the universe says you have a big canvas out there, girlfriend. You have a huge canvas. Paint away. But whatever you're painting, you're the person painting. And if you don't like what you've painted, then change it. Go back. Look at what are the habits that you've instilled in yourself. What are the systems that you're living? Are they working for you? And if they are not, don't beat yourself up because I'm telling you, they might have worked in the past. They've just changed. My eating habits, way I ate when I was in my 40s, I cannot eat in my 50s because my body's changed. Right? And what I could eat in my 20s, oh my God, I could eat anything and feel fine. My body's changed. It's not right or wrong. It just is. There's no judgment on it. It's just I need to go back to my systems, to my habits, and decide what's working for me now. And I can make goals, but remember, goals are really, the outcomes are not what you're striving for. What you're striving for is these new systems and these habits that help you be the best you every day. All right. We're going to dive deeper into atomic habits next week. Talk about more process and habits. And always remember that you have the internal power to practice all the time. It is your choice. Hey, Wayne, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see. I'm going to go back into my banners. And if you have anything you would like me to help you work on, find me on centeredmoment.com. I'm a mindful living coach. I help people with habits and systems and understanding and bring out their very best. And I enjoy it so much. So just go ahead and send me a message. And if you have any comments on habits and things that you do, feel free to share them with me. I really appreciate you being here. And I want to thank so much New Thought Media Network for giving me this platform. And, it's a nonprofit. It has wonderful ministers and wonderful other speakers who really help us bring and develop the highest connection to our highest consciousness, to the infinite God that's around us, in us, and through us. So remember, it is all based on donation. Pull out your heart earrings, pull out your heart shirts. Really enjoy this coming week, Valentine week. Sending you all lots and lots of love. Lots of, oh, and I'm going to throw up what Wayne wrote. Love always wins. Amen, brother. I agree with that one. Until next week, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here in Canada. And if you're seeing this in Florida and Maryland and everywhere else, here, I'll throw one more thing up. Oh, look at Dad, I love you. Mom, I love you. You help bring out the best in your parents. Well, you guys help me really build up some marvelous systems from childhood that I get to bring into adulthood and share with my own children and hopefully my grandchildren, your great grandchildren. Anyway, lots of love. And until next week, I shall see you. I'm doing much better this time on my own producing, huh?